We are back with another Pokemon Draft League battle with our quarterfinals battle in BBR Season 8. We had a rough stretch of leagues after our return to Draft League in BBR Season 6, but the last few leagues have put us back on the right track, finally challenging again for championships. In our quarterfinals battle, we were playing against OG Albina and his Golden State Gallades. Owen won the last season of BBR, so we have a chance here to knock out the former champion and put us into the semifinals for back-to-back leagues. If you've been enjoying the Pokemon Draft League content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are still working towards our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and every subscription helps a ton along that journey. Getting into the matchup, our team consists of Meowscarada, Iron Hands, Volcarona, Screamtail, Landorus Incarnate, Blastoise, Dragonite, Registeel, and Bruxish. OG Albina's team is Iron Valiant, Chi-Yu, Glimmora, Swampert, Metagross, Talonflame, Decidueye, Porygon Z, and Hariyama. Iron Valiant is one of the best Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet Draft League, and this matchup is certainly no exception. We have limited ways to switch into this Pokemon and are going to have to rely on some of our offensive threats to play a defensive role in this game to help keep Iron Valiant in check. In BBR Season 6 versus J. Ricky, we ran a defensive Volcarona to serve this purpose, and we are going back to that idea again this week. Chi-Yu is also a very threatening Pokemon here, with defensive checks also being very limited. When preparing for this game in mocks, both Choice Scarf and Choice Specs created for very difficult scenarios, as Fire and Dark coverage in combination are very difficult for my team to switch into regularly. Our key to victory in this matchup is going to be our Landorus once again, with Owen's ground resist being Talonflame and Decidueye, both of which we can pack coverage for. Hariyama will likely have to be the check for this Pokemon with an Assault Vest as a result, helping us simplify the range of teams that we can expect Owen to bring. And that is why Life Orb Landorus is our lead this week, giving us an opportunity to set up Stealth Rocks or put Owen's team under offensive pressure early. Earth Power and Psychic coverage hit Owen's entire team for big damage, with Rock Slide providing a coverage move for the expected initial pivot of Talonflame. Life Orb allows us to run Timid, with Rock Slide still doing enough damage to the Talonflame after Brave Bird recoil. Being timid over Hasty is very important for taking liquidation from Iron Valiant, allowing us to kill it with Psychic and prevent a Swords Dance sweep in the face of one of his best offensive threats. Our Meowscarada set this week is a twist on a classic Spikes attacking set, with the goal of being able to take advantage of a defensive Talonflame used to answer it. Knockoff into Power Gem kills defensive Talonflame, killing through a very likely Will-O-Wisp turn. While getting burned will limit Meowscarada's usefulness in the rest of the battle, getting this KO helps enable our Life Orb Landorus, one of our main keys to victory. This set has plenty to offer outside of baiting the Talonflame, however, with Spikes opening up some key calcs for our Landorus and Blastoise, which we will get to later. Knockoff and Flower Trick are important moves, even while burned, to help break through Swampert, one of Owen's likely leads in this battle. Volcarona is a Quiver Dance win condition this week, but we are also using it as a defensive check to Iron Valiant. Because of this, we are focusing most of our EVs and nature into defense, with 108 speed allowing us to outpace max speed Metagross. Liquidation Iron Valiant is still going to do a lot of damage, but we can force Iron Valiant to have to attack multiple times into Flame Body, risking a burn that renders it almost useless the rest of the game. Psychic also kills almost all Iron Valiant sets that we expect to see, allowing this to be an offensive check in the late game when unboosted. We are foregoing fire coverage for Bug Buzz this week, as Bug plus Psychic coverage hits Owen's entire team for massive damage across the board. This allows us to use Morning Sun again, allowing us to heal off damage taken from Iron Valiant in the mid game. Despite sitting on the bench all season, we find great use for Dragonite on the team for the second week in a row, leveraging it as a defensive pivot to Owen's Chi-Yu. Our set always allows us to live 2 modest Choice Spec Dark Pulses from Chi-Yu, allowing us to kill it in response with an Earthquake. For the more likely Choice Scarf sets, we have a Roost to give us more longevity, allowing us to use it as an answer to a wide variety of Pokemon like Decidueye and Hariyama. Hurricane is our coverage move for this Pokemon, allowing us to also hit the Talonflame for big damage trying to switch into an Earthquake. Extreme Speed is our final move, giving us priority to deal with a potential setup Iron Valiant that has gotten out of control. Mirror Herb is a very difficult item for Owen to run this week, with it limiting the ability of his faster Pokemon to impact the game, which makes this game perfect to bring Shell Smash Blastoise. We are running almost max speed this week, allowing us to outspeed Booster Energy Speed Iron Valiant in the late game if need be. Our coverage needs are very simple this week, as his only water resist, being weak to Dark Pulse, allows us to run both Hydro Pump and Surf. This is important in that if we are in an early situation to sweep, Hydro Pump allows us to kill the majority of his team from full HP. The goal is to leverage spikes and various chip throughout the game to allow us to use Surf, likely only needing to use the Hydro Pump against the Iron Valiant at the end. Assault Fist Iron Hands has been a mainstay on this team, and we are packing it with an extra special punch with it this week. Owen's primary switch into Iron Hands is likely to be Swampert, which we can deal massive damage to with Focus Punch, around 75 to 80% if he is running a specially defensive set. Killing it with Drain Punch the following turn, this sequence will remove one of Owen's best defensive walls on his team. Our other coverage moves include Rock Slide for Talonflame and Fire Punch for Decidueye, two other Pokemon that we can expect to be answers to Iron Hands depending on the situation. One thing we need to be mindful of is Iron Valiant, which is able to set up on us without Heavy Slam to punish it. Keeping one of our moves hidden throughout the entire battle is going to be critical to allowing the set to get value, because with full knowledge of the moveset, Owen is able to come in and set up for free on a Pokemon we want to see on the field often. And that is our team for the quarterfinals of the BBR Season 8. Super excited for this game. Shout out to Kaz, John Jr., Obo, King Sky, and Nico for all of the prep and mock support this week. Let's get right into the battle. Alright, we are now in the battle for the quarterfinals of BBR Season 8. Owen has elected to not bring Chi-Yu, which was one of the better Pokemon in this matchup. We had Dragonite that was designed for it. We had a lot of prep like really centered around that Pokemon, so it's kind of surprising it's not here, to be honest. But hey, we'll take that. We'll take that every time. No Chi-Yu. Our plan is to lead Landorus. Landorus leads really well against his entire team. We kind of expect the Swampert lead, and it might be nice to lead Meowscarada in that case, but there's a lot of good turns that come out of Landorus lead as well, and it's the lead that we've had for all of the mocks, and kind of all of the sequences are designed around that. So we're going to stick to the plan that we had. Good luck, have fun to Owen. Look at that, 2 true players with the basic card. Keeping it simple, keeping it simple. He sends a Dagon, which is the Swampert. Okay, so he could easily Ice Punch here. I expect something like a Rindo set, so I expect either Flip Turn or Stealth Rocks to come for this turn. Our pre-planned play is to always go into Meowscarada here. If he Stealth Rocks, then we just knock this off. If he Flip Turns, then he goes into something that gives us a pretty decent turn into something else in this battle. He just goes for the Stealth Rock, perfect. So I think on this turn, as I said, I want to knock off. I don't want to play into Rindo Berry, no reason to do any of that nonsense. If he goes into something like the Talonflame, then we can Power Gem it after and just get rid of that Pokemon for the rest of the game. But we're going to get a big knockoff here. Turn into a Dark type, remove that Rindo Berry that we expect to see. There is a Rindo Berry there, and there is an Ice Punch, so perfect. We get around one of the lures that Owen has this week. And that's a really, really good turn to start this battle. Question here now is, does Owen want to stay in? What is he kind of thinking here? Does he just want to sack this thing off? This thing has utility, potentially to switch into something like the Iron Hands is what he might think. He could go into Talonflame here. I'm actually kind of okay with just going for the Flower Trick and killing this if he gives it to me. If he goes into something like the Talonflame, then we can evaluate from there. But if he wants to give me this, then I'll take it. Another knockoff there would have been very, very powerful on something like the Talonflame, of course. But it is what it is. He just goes Talonflame, man. A double knockoff there would have been super nice. But, you know, if he gives me that Pokemon, I would have liked to have taken it. Let's see if he gets a burn here. He does not get a burn. So let's kind of see the calcs that we have here with the Meowscarada against Talonflame. So Brave Bird from Jolly, max attack has a chance to kill, U-turn doesn't kill. I could expect him, I kind of think he goes for something like I kind of expect him to go for the Willow here. Willow is a pretty good play here, so I think I'm just going to stay in and Power Gem. I do have a chance to lose this Pokemon, of course, but if he just goes for the Willow, I pick this up with Power Gem, and he goes for the Willow. Perfect turn. This Power Gem should have a pretty decent chance of killing if it's max HP. And given the fact that it looks very defensive, we should just be able to pick most of the HP off on this Pokemon. Huge turn that to get that chip. We're gonna force the Roost here. Force a Roost. I can go now. I think because I'm forcing this Roost, what I want to do here is go into the, what's it called? Man, I really wish I would have knocked off, because that turn would have just worked out like perfectly. This is willowed, but that's still going to be able to check the Swampert, which is, you know, all that matters at this point in the game. If he goes for the attack, he goes for the attack and dies. So I'm just going to Power Gem again. Let's just pick up some damage on this Pokemon. He goes for the Roost. That's perfectly fine. I probably should have knocked there, actually. But if I keep him at a position where he's low, then I think we're in a good spot. And maybe at this point I should have just gone to Blastoise there, given the sequence, because I think at this point I'm just going to go into Blastoise. So maybe a little bit of unoptimal sequence there, but we put a little bit of damage, put him under pressure early. If I would have knocked, that would have been perfect. So unfortunate that, but we'll take that as it is. So everything's kind of going as expected here. Oh, we actually stayed in and Brave Birded. Wow, I took a lot of damage on this that I didn't need to. Definitely not happy about that, to say the least. Would have really liked to keep this at high HP, because this is a really good win con actually in this game now. But at this point, I think I just go for the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse covers the Decidueye coming in, which would be nice. And if he just goes for the Brave Bird, he goes for the Brave Bird. So maybe I should have just sacked HP on Dragonite here. I still have an opportunity to get a Shell Smash off against the Porygon Z, which is nice. But Talonflame is out the way, which means that Landorus has a really, really good time the rest of this game, actually putting pressure on Owen's team. So a little bit unoptimal so far in terms of how I played, not going for the knockoff into Power Gem. I think cost me in that middle sequence there. But we still have a lot of tools here at our disposal. And in comes Porygon Z. So Porygon Z provides some awkward turns in this battle for sure. I think what I want to do initially is to kind of gauge, because I don't necessarily need the Dragonite HP, I can actually go here. I think what I want to do here is I'm just going to go Iron Hands. The fact that there's no Chi-Yu means I can be a little bit more liberal with my specially defensive walls, and I can set up a really powerful Focus Punch turn here. I can set up a really powerful Focus Punch turn here, and we can actually gain kind of a lot of information here on this Pokemon. Don't burn. Nice. Alright, so let's get the Porygon Z information that we need for this battle. That did about, so after rocks, it did about 200. It looks to be modest Choice Scarf damage. It looks to maybe be Silk Scarf-ish or modest Choice Scarf damage. There's no way that he's staying in here. I could see him going into something like the Decidueye. What I just want to do here is I think I'm going to Focus Punch. If I catch the Swampert, I catch the Swampert. That's super huge for this battle. He's going to withdraw. If he goes into Swampert, we kill that, and this game is opened up so much. And that is a Swampert. Perfect turn to get here. We catch the Swampert with Focus Punch. A big ADV moment. You know, shout out Focus Punch for all my ADV Gen 3 players out there. That's going to be a dead Swampert all of the time. And we're in a great spot. We've got 2 of his Pokemon down. We do have a sack basically in Meowscarada left at this point, and this game is just going exactly how we pre-planned it in all of the mocks, so super happy with this so far. I kind of expect something like the Iron Valiant to come out here is the most likely. I think he goes Iron Valiant here. Or he goes to Decidueye here. Okay. Interesting. I still do want Iron Hands, because Iron Hands still has some utility in this battle. I don't want to Fire Punch, because that could just end up in like a random situation where he's just like... He could just be something crazy with this, which isn't great. So I think what I'm going to do is just go into... I'm going to go into Dragonite, I think, to scout. I think it could be something like Poltergeist, maybe. I'm just going to go into Dragonite. Once again, Dragonite's utility in this matchup was very focused around beating Chi-Yu. And the fact that Chi-Yu is not here means we can, as I said, we can use its HP for other purposes here. And he goes for the Spirit Shackle. So, a decent amount of damage. That should no longer, I'm no longer can move out. So Poltergeist has pretty much no rolls that can kill me from here. And Hurricane just puts it in a really bad spot. I could just also roost this damage off. But I could actually roost this damage off, actually. But the question is does he just switch out here? I Hurricane and put a lot of chip. If he's max HP, if he weakness policies, I think I'm just gonna Hurricane here, get my damage off. He just goes for another Spirit Shackle. We should live this every time. And then we're going to get a really, really good amount of chip off on this Decidueye. And we get the confusion, which is crazy. Oh my god. That is such a hilarious moment. Because of the fact that he's confused and he keeps going for Spirit Shackle, I think I'm just going to go out into my Meowscarada, because going for a knockoff here is super powerful. I preserve this Pokemon, the Dragonite, as a sack against the Iron Valiant, which is nice. And then I get a free knockoff on either this, I get to hit the Iron Valiant, we get to learn of its booster energy. Knockoff here should just be fine, because I think he's going to go for the kill with the Spirit Shackle. Oh, I'm fucking trapped, I'm an idiot. Well, I guess at this point, I think I'll Roost. I'll Roost, or do I Hurricane? I'm going to Hurricane, I think, just to maximize damage. Obviously, if he gets hit in Confusion, then he does get hit in Confusion. Wow, that is fortunate for me. And I do hit my Hurricane, so that is 3 Pokemon down for Owen at this point. He is quickly running out of tools, and we haven't lost a single Pokemon yet, so once again, we're not out here just yet. We are not out. There is still an Iron Valiant that we have to contend with. That is super powerful. He just goes Porygon Z, so we do expect this to just be a... I kind of do expect him just to go for a Tri-Attack here, so I'm just going to go for the Extreme Speed. Put a little chip on this Pokemon. A little chip is always nice. I do expect him to just kill me here, and then we can go into Iron Hands after the fact. So, good chip. What that chip does is means if I ever set up with the Blastoise, I don't have to go for Hydro Pump on that Pokemon now. So, really, really, really happy about that. But I can just go Iron Hands here, and I get a really, really powerful Drain Punch against his team. I could go into Landorus, to be honest. What is this? What is this? You know, switch into Landorus at this point. So if he's Timid Specs, he has a chance to kill me. If he's Timid Scarf, he doesn't kill me. So Landorus is actually kind of my best play here, because if he outspeeds me, he doesn't kill. And then I force pressure on more of his team. So let's go Landorus here. This has a lot better outcomes in terms of this game, because of the fact that we did get that extreme speed damage off. Let's just go for the Earth Power. If he goes into something like the not the Iron Hands, the Hariyama, then we learn if it's Assault Vest or not. We kind of expect it to be Assault Vest in this matchup. It certainly should be, at least. That is Assault Vest if I've ever seen it. Assault Vest, what's it called? Hariyama. So at this point, let's see, 252. So we're never killing with Psychic here, so we can never go for it. He can go for something like the Ice Punch on this turn. I think what I want to do is I don't want to go this, because Volcarona is still very useful against Iron Valiant and Porygon. I think I'm just going to go into my Blastoise. It's the lowest opportunity for him to get HP back with this Pokemon. Once again, I just need a little bit of chip, and if he goes for something like the Ice Punch, then I have a chance at a pretty decent turn here. And if this Pokemon dies, I can then go into my Meowscarada, get a knockoff on this Pokemon, and then that opens it up in range for the Landorus to kill after the fact. And then he has really nothing to do, be able to deal with my Landorus. So I get an Ice Punch here, no freeze. Will be Pog. Alright. Good spot there. Let me look at the damage that's expected of this Pokemon. A Surf does put this in range, especially at Torrent, because I'm at, what, 46 HP? Yeah, so this Surf is putting it in Torrent, and he doesn't have a good switch into this Surf, so I'm just going to go for Surf, put pressure on this Pokemon or the rest of his team. That's good. That's in range now. He goes for the Rock Slide. That does kill with the crit. I assume that does not matter, though. Yeah, that was never mattering. And I think I can just go back into Landorus at this point with the Assault Vest knocked off. He has no switch in for Psychic here, so we're just going to go into Landorus, get a Psychic off. And I think we're at a good spot where I think we've done everything we need to do to win this game. We just have to go for the Psychic. He can't be anything. There's nothing at this point that he can be that prevents this from killing. You would have to be some... I don't even think there's a possible set that you could put together. Yeah, you can't even put together a possible set that lives this Psychic. Wait, what is going on? How did that live? Oh my god, what is going on? That's not good. Am I doing the calcs wrong? Oh, I removed Assault Vest for some reason. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this game. Wow, I removed Assault Vest for some reason in the calc. That's not good. I still have enough tools for this game. It really doesn't matter at this point, honestly. At least it shouldn't. I still have enough tools to win the game. So that's a huge blunder in this game. I knew I had to go this first. This was the right play, obviously. Just completely misstep there. I got a little bit too far ahead of myself. I can't go for the knockoff here. I'm just going to go for the flower trick. Flower trick, I guess the damage doesn't really matter. I'm just going to knock off here. I could put myself into a grass type for the Iron Valiant. Wow, that's an unfortunate turn. We get the Hariyama down. Look, we're still in a good spot. We have this to manage the Iron Valiant. Yeah, that's just a complete sidestep of the turn sequence there. Really not happy with that. And now he's just going to go into the Iron Valiant. He's going to be booster special attack. Or, yeah, booster speed. Is there anything I can do? I think at this point I have to go this. That misstep is so bad because it put me in a position that I can't use my Landorus as a lure now, and I have to hope he just raw liquidations here. And he just sword stances. Yeah, wow, nothing I can do about that. At this point, just completely played the sequence wrong that I predetermined. Lined it all up and everything. I'll go for the Psychic here. I should just die to this liquidation. If I get a burn, maybe I have a chance after the fact, but I don't even think that's going to save me at this point. Wow, that is unfortunate to say the least. Wow. Really frustrating way to go out that. Just like losing focus at the last second. Because yeah, if I knock off, I kill the Hariyama, then Iron Valiant can't set up and just dies. And then I have the perfect sequence set up. Oh man, that is unbelievable. Cannot believe we threw that one, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, sometimes you just make mistakes like that, especially with such a perfect game and such a perfectly planned game. Everything kind of went as expected. To kind of make that misstep at the end, just too costly at that point. I guess he could have gone hard. I guess in that situation, if I go Masquerade, he can just go hard Valiant on any of the hits and just be fine. I guess you can't assume I'm play ref or anything, so maybe this still ends up kind of resulting in the same scenario because I have to attack. I guess it all depends on how he wanted to play that, but a good game to Owen. Really unfortunate one there for it to come down to such a close roll, especially where I probably had a chance to have done something else to have won that game. But we are out of the BBR after a pretty good season, which is unfortunate. And yeah, it is what it is. Not much to say about that. Good game to Owen. I think this was his game plan. Always kind of had to come down to taking advantage of Iron Valiant. This is such a good matchup for me, and just we kind of had everything planned. It all made sense in the builder, but the execution at the end just looks to have cost us. So good game to Owen, and good luck to him in the rest of the BBR playoffs. We are back with BBR Scramble starting next week now, so we're in that tournament, a bunch of other draft content, so stay tuned for that. Our next full Wi-Fi league is not for another couple of months, so plenty of interesting stuff coming to you before we get to that point. But otherwise, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you all next time, and as always, have a wonderful day.